Since retiring from church ministry, I find I work in some ways harder now than I did before. Some weeks start off with a tremendous blessing, and as the week progresses, my days become one fiasco after another, and it's all out of my control. Some Fridays I find myself so tired and in the pits of despair that my body acts in sympathy with my mind. It's good to remember what God has done for you in the past so that you don't begin to believe the enemy's lies. Stay tuned. In this episode of Harvest, we will reflect on God's providence and the powerful heavenly angels who keep constant watch over us.
Bless the Lord, his angels that excel in strength, that do his commandments, hearkening unto the voice of his word.
My wife and I both grew up in the Southwest. I grew up in Tucson, and my wife grew up in the Inland Empire of Southern California, in a little town called Hemet. Our view of the seasons and holiday experiences were shaped by where we had been raised. In 2012, we decided that we would move our young, growing family away from the influences of Southern California, moving to northern Colorado. We knew we would encounter snowy winters, but we were oblivious to what springtime along the Front Range of the Rocky Mountains is like. In March 2013, our first spring in Colorado, during spring break, the temperature soared into the 80s. We decided that it would be a great time to take our children to see Mount Rushmore National Monument in South Dakota. It was a beautiful 5-hour drive. Our long weekend was wonderful, and we have some beautiful pictures of our trip and great memories. On the way home, we decided that we would take the slightly longer drive down through Wyoming instead of through Nebraska. My wife hadn't seen north central Wyoming before. Our trip started out with a lovely warm day, and as we entered the town of Gillette, Wyoming, dark storm clouds gathered, and it began to pour rain. We were riding in a large SUV, and I joked aloud if our angels were riding or flying. By the time we reached Sheridan, Wyoming, the rain had turned to snow, and just after passing Casper, we encountered whiteout conditions. Passing a semi-truck, my wife lost control of our vehicle, and we began to slide into the median. And coming straight for my side of the SUV was a large signpost. Immediately, visions of impalement flashed through my mind. Crying out, "Lord, help!" Our SUV began to slide sideways like a merry-go-round around the pole, and then came to an abrupt stop, and our SUV flipped 3 times. Landing upside down, we were all dangling from our seatbelts. In 1984, Michael W. Smith wrote an anthem that had been made popular by Amy Grant. The words say, "God only knows the times my life was threatened just today. A reckless car ran out of gas before it ran my way. Near misses all around me. Accidents unknown, though I never see with human eyes the hands that lead me home. But I know they're all around me, all day and through the night. And when the enemy is closing in, I know sometimes they fight to keep my feet from falling. I'll never turn away. If you're asking me what's protecting me, then you're gonna hear me say, got his angels watching over me, every move I make. Angels watching over me. Though I never see with human eyes the hands that lead me home. Angels watching over me." Getting out of our SUV, my wife explained, "Michael, you got your answer about the angels." Of course, I was a little confused, and then looked into the vehicle, and I immediately noticed the ceiling of our SUV. The laws of physics had been broken. The ceiling should have been caving in, yet there was a perfect bubble pressing outward over each previously occupied seat. God had commanded our angels to use their bodies as shields as we tumbled through the accident, and to this day, I get emotional when I retell that story. In an article dated November 9, 1908, Ellen G. White wrote the following.
So long as the people of God preserve their fidelity to Him, so long as they cling by living faith to Jesus, they are under the protection of heavenly angels, and Satan will not be permitted to exercise his hellish arts upon them to their destruction. It is the greatest joy of the angels of heaven to spread the shield of their tender love over souls who turn to God.
Trust in the Lord, call to Him in your distress, and He shall answer you.
Ask God each morning to send His angels to keep you physically and spiritually safe. And then don't forget to thank your angel too. Have a great week ahead.
This has been a presentation of Harvest with your host, Dr. Michael John Cookenmaster. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon. Like, comment, and share. See you next time.